Alright, what's up everybody? Ted here, another Bodies and Wicks. I tried streaming again and it just went straight to crap. Anyways, we are going to be going over some charts today. I'm going to start off with crypto today. I feel like the people that understand Forex really understand Forex, and I feel like the crypto people really need some technical analysis thrown their way. Um, I've been watching some crypto enthusiasts, some crypto podcasts, and I don't think a majority of them understand the technicals. Even the technical analysis people, I feel like don't understand the technicals. At least in a smart money sense. They kind of understand the basics of support and resistance and things like that, but they don't really understand much else. So I'm gonna start off with some crypto, and then we'll head to Forex and see what happened. All right, so let's head on over to the charts. And first I have up is, of course, the price on the screen, because we are very, very close to hitting the magic 30,000. I have the line right up here. So yesterday, if you had watched my video, you had seen where it was right around here, right? I think right up, it's probably somewhere in here, because it was probably around 10 o'clock, something like that. And I said it was bullish, and I said it was going to continue going higher, because I had seen where, well, it had made this high right here, right? It pulled back, and I said, it's almost with equal highs. I said because of that, it's pulling higher because of liquidity, right? So what does liquidity mean? Liquidity means that there are uh, either buy stops or sell limits in a specific area because of support and resistance. Uh, so that would be where I drew this line here. That would be your buy stops if people thought it was going to break it, right? And just to put a little depiction on here, what I'll do is I will put a long position. So in Robinhood, you can do this. Actually, you can put a buy stop on yours. I prefer to use MetaTrader 4 because I trade CFDs. So if you were to think it was going to get to this level, right, and you thought it was going to, and this is the thing, it did exactly the smart money thing, right? So what it did is it went up through it, right? So in case, and people were probably thinking, oh, it's just going to come right back down, hit it, and then that's going to be the support, and it's going to keep going up. What did it do instead? It went through it, and then it went down, right? So people that had this set up, that had this buy stop and set up that it was just going to keep going after that, crypto just keeps going forever. No, I'm sorry. Smart money doesn't work like that. It trips those people, it takes those people through those buy stops, right? And then it pulls them back that way. It takes their money from them. So everything that you had invested in this red area whenever your money was going down, and then it hits the stop loss. And as soon as it hits that stop loss, that money is transferred from you to, if you're in MetaTrader 4, to the broker. If you are in Robinhood, it goes basically back to your bank account or whatever, but you had lost money in there, right? So where does that money go? It goes to whoever gained that money, and that would be to whoever is selling in this area on a CFD, or whoever is holding out, for the buy in the investment area. Because they know it's going to drop, because they understand that this was going to happen. And that's what I was telling people yesterday. So it's going to be bullish, but you got to watch out for these smart money approaches to where, and I said this in my video yesterday, I forgot which one it was. It may have been this one. So it could break that and then pull down, pull up to about 75% and then drop again. Or it can just continue going up, right, and drop again and then continue going up. And I think that's probably what is going to happen once we get up near this 30,000 mark. We're probably going to see a lot of resistance here. And we'll probably see it poke through, of course. Um, I think I no, I'm not Nostradamus. I don't know the future, but I think we could probably see a pretty dramatic fall from that point. But I don't think it's going to be anything too huge. I think it'll definitely hit it tomorrow, New Year's. The conspiracy theorist in me thinks that somebody was saying something about, you gotta pay either a tax on these or something. I haven't looked into it. I'm sorry, I don't know the answers. Somebody was saying something about you gotta pay a 1% tax on all crypto that you own or something like that. I don't know. But the conspiracy theorist in me says that there is, whoever has control of most of this is going to continue buying it until it hits a certain point, right? And it's going to be tomorrow night, and then right after midnight strikes, boom, it's going to fall. And so everybody who has owned a lot in this, it's going to just drop in half, and you're going to have to pay a lot of money on what you owned at the end of the year. It doesn't matter how much it's going to be whenever it comes tax time. It could be $7,000. It could, it could be Bitcoin could be at $2,000. We don't know what's going to happen to Bitcoin. To be honest, I mean, I have a good feeling it's not going to be that low, but you never know. It could happen. But I do still, see it being as bullish because a lot of people are there's too many people saying sell, 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 and because there's too many people saying sell, 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 it's still there's also people saying buy. So if there's more buyers than there are sellers, right, it's going to continue buying, right? So, but smart money would also say that there's no such thing as this. They would say it's just repricing. But with crypto having, especially Bitcoin having, a specific amount, the scarcity is there. So that's why price, price can be manipulated for sure, depending on how much is, depending on the whoever owns how much. Let's say a specific entity owns 50% of this particular cryptocurrency called Bitcoin. They could sell off all of it tomorrow and the price would plummet by a lot, right? And then they could turn around and they just start buying it up slowly in basically regaining all that money. I mean, what they took everything that they had sold, which would probably be millions and millions of dollars, and then start slowly reinvesting it to get back up. Even more and more money. You're probably going to buy it at that point if it drops because they're waiting for it to drop so they can put more money into it. And then that's how they make themselves richer, right? So that's how the game can be played. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. But the way to read smart money is to see those. Here is a good example of how smart money works, right? So smart money, you're looking for areas of what we call mitigation, right? And that is either where you either buy or you sell, right? Depending on which side the mitigation is. So here you see Bitcoin going up and up, right? Until it gets to this little point here, right? And then you have, and I'm on the 5-minute chart, right, mind you. So this is how minuscule and how accurate it can be. It goes up and then right here it hits the top and then it goes boom, right? And it drops from, let's actually throw a line on there so we can get a better idea. Not even showing me the price of the line. That's weird. Usually it shows me the price. So it is 28, basically 450, something like that. 28,450 is what we're looking at that price on that line. And then boom, it drops, right? It drops in about 10 minutes. It drops to 15 minutes, I should say. And it drops to 28,261. So that is a good, almost a little bit more than $200, right? 261, 450, yeah, a little bit less than 200, something like that. So it drops that amount, right, with it. And can you imagine just a couple years ago, Bitcoin wasn't even worth $260, and now it drops $260 in a matter of 15 minutes? Like, how crazy is that? Anyways, just a side thought. So it drops that amount, and then as soon as it drops, right, it automatically picks back up. Well, it hits area mitigation, but that's neither here nor there. But boom, it goes up, and I want to say it had just broken the these highs. So as soon as you see it break these highs, boom, it's all right. It's bullish again, right? So that's what you're waiting on. You're waiting on it for it to break a high. So as soon as it breaks that high, what I would be waiting on, right, is for it to come back down and hit that area to where it pushed down, to where it's sold off, right? Because somewhere in here, somebody had enough money to sell a bunch, right, to push it down enough to where they could buy. At the same time, they were also selling a CFD, contract for difference, which is what most Forex is, things like that. And so what I'm saying is that what they did is they put a short position on here. And let me take this off of here, right? Put a short position on here, right? And then they could just leave their stop loss wherever, right? And then they're probably gonna take a profit or anything like that, but they pushed it down, and then at the exact same time, they bought, and then they also went long on a position here, right? So they went long on that position, and they're probably still holding that position, right? So, but they had enough money to make it drop just $200, enough to get them to be satisfied to continue to make a bigger and better profit. Now, what happened is that whenever they sold here, and then it dropped back down to here, what did they do? Oops, not that part. Let me redo this. They took this part, and then they said, okay, I'm gonna get rid of that because it came back down to that area. So actually, so as it was falling back down, right? Let's just use this little thing as an example. As it was falling back down to this area, as soon as it got here, what they could do is they could then release their trade that they had on it, right? And now they're either at no loss or they're at very little loss at all. They release that trade, right? They continue holding the buy, and they continue making money, right? So that is what smart money looks for. We look for those dips like that, and then we look for the return to it. That's why it makes that big spike, because they probably did the same thing again up here, right? So, or at least something like that, or maybe just people sold off, they got lucky, I don't know, but they probably did the same thing. Oops, that was the wrong one. Looking for a short position, so they probably could have done the same thing here, right, to where they pushed it down, right, and now they're holding this, right, and they're going to hold this until it comes back down, and then hits this area again, because as you can see here, we have another mitigation point. So whenever you see these big like I call them displacement candles, so you have like a little consolidation area right here, right, and then you have this big displacement of let's see how much it is. So let's put this back on it. And this is what I don't understand about Coinbase, is that you can't even put like limits or anything like that on it. You can in Robinhood, but they say the best thing to do is to down cost average. Nobody's perfect at timing the market. If you know what you're doing, you can time the market. And I'm trying to show you how to time the market right now, right? So, now it doesn't always work. It's not 100% foolproof, but it 99% of the time works. It's why it keeps doing it, right? So. You see this, and then you see this big displacement. What's going to happen? It's consolidating. It's probably going to come back down, and as soon as it hits this price, right, whatever this price is, let me take a look at it. 28,936.93, 28,337, something like that. As soon as it gets near that area, it is probably going to start buying again. So let's just go ahead and put a little, arrow there, and then continue on up, right? And then boom, onwards to 30,000. Right, that's where I think it's going to go. So I'll just leave that there, and we'll see where it's at tomorrow. Because we will see if if this is true, right? And so you can watch my video and say, hey, he was right. He actually knows what he's talking about. Or you can look at me and say, this dude's a douchebag. He's an idiot. He has no idea what he's talking about. It's going to be one or the other. But I have a feeling it's going to hit this, right? The only bad thing about something like this is that if you look at it, right, in this consolidation, there's it's actually it's really not much, because I mean, unless it pushes down really, really hard, which it kind of is. I mean, it's not really pushing down hard. Mainly it's kind of float down, I think. But if it does push down really, really hard, it could get past this, right? And then what's going to happen is it would probably pull up to this part underneath it and then sell instead, right? So that would be the only other possibility, right? It would pull down below this, probably hit something like this, come up here, and then sell. That's probably the only other possibility. The reason I say that is because you're still looking at this area of displacement. It still has to, this is where it's attracted to. It's going to be attracted to this area of displacement. Or, you know, since, well, no, I wouldn't think that. Since there is kind of a line here, I mean, there is a possibility it could come up to that line, right? Because that is where it originally, see this push up. You got the two green candles here, right? But then it's kind of sideways, so it doesn't make sense. There's not a big displacement there. So it wouldn't make sense to come all the way back up here like you see down here to where it comes down. And then it pushes up. And almost like, you know, it just kind of shoots up really quick. So that's what you look for. You look for those areas of displacement and then for it to return. Same thing here. Boom. And then you have the area of displacement and then it returns to it, right? You're looking for that return. Once you look for that return, that's the timing of the market that you want to look for, right? So that's what you should be looking for whenever you're timing the market. So again, somewhere around 28,937. Sure, purchase some more. Why not? This is all opinion and not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. You should not think of me as a broker. I am not licensed to tell you anything other than my own personal opinions. So that's all I'm doing, is telling you my opinions, right? All right. So Ethereum. What did I say about Ethereum? I saw this line here, right? These equal highs. I said it's going to get above those. Right, and I also said it was going to get down to about 715. If you saw my video yesterday, you heard me say I think it's going to get down to about 715, and then it's going to go up, right? And when I filmed my video yesterday, it was right around in here, and I was talking about all these different levels it was probably going to bounce off of, right? Look, it almost came down to this one, right? Pulled back up, came back down, and here's that level I was talking about. I said this is probably the one it's going to hit before it's going to go back up. It got close. Crypto's a little bit different of it than Forex. Forex, it would have been through it, right? And then it would have came up. For some reason, crypto likes to stop a little bit before these areas. That's what I noticed about crypto. But it does the same thing, same exact principle, right? So instead, it comes down near it. It's about what 716, 717. I was $2 off, right, to where I thought it was going to come before it actually went up and then broke the high. Now it come up, it did break the high, now it's falling back down. What do we wait for? It's probably going to start shooting back up right now. You know why? Oh look, it actually did. It bounced already. You know why? Because it hit the area of displacement. It hit that area that I was talking about that you should be watching for. So the last push down would have been right here. There it is, straight across. Came down, hits that area. What does it do? Bounces right back up. That's what you look for. You don't look for support and resistance. You look for areas of displacement, right? Let that sink that into your brain, beat into your head as much as you can, right? Areas of displacement. Biggest area, because look at this. You you have all these candles. I mean, that's just basically one big giant candle if you think about it. I mean, I'm in a 5 minutes, so how many 5 minute candles is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Almost an hour, you know. So a little bit over. You know, that's one big 30-minute candle there without this small one down here. Um, so it's a one big 30-minute candle, right? And then it just goes sideways forever. And then it finally drops, right? And then when it finally drops, what does it do? Boom, goes back up. And then this brings me back to my point that from that some whoever was saying this stuff yesterday, guys, can you believe it does this 70% retracement? Oh, I don't understand how things can do a 70% retracement and it still continue to go up. Dude, look at this. What is that? From the area displacement all the way back down to it. You're looking at almost 95% retracement, right, before it bounces back. And you know it's going to keep going up. You know how it's going to keep going up? Because it just broke the high, right? So it had those equal highs. This is where that area of liquidity is, right? So it breaks those highs, it pulls back down, and now it's going to continue going up. Or at least I think so. I mean, I don't see a reason why it wouldn't go up. There probably could be some reasons, right? So you do have an area of displacement down here, right? So you could look at this, right, as it's coming back up to it. You could see it hit that and then possibly go back down, but I don't think so. Well, it's going down now, but, you know, crypto takes a while. But I think this will eventually start coming back up. It's not going to shoot right up right away. But I mean, to see it just come right into that area of displacement and then bounce right back off of it is exactly what I'm talking about, right? And if you even want to get even more, like almost to a T, you look at this candle here, and that's almost exactly what it hit. Was the next candle. It wasn't this big red candle, because this one came down, it actually bounced up a little bit, and then pushed down again. So it's actually aiming more toward that candle. So again, so you can time the market. Don't think that dollar cost averaging is the only way to do it. You can time the market, and I'm showing you how, right? Yearn. I want to take a look at Yearn because Yearn is kind of funny. I don't know why. It's still doing what it did 2 days ago. Nothing. Even though I did call for some kind of some big things on Yearn. You know, I said it's probably waiting for it to return back to this, 60, 62%, 80% retracement level. Somewhere in this area to where you have the push down right before, right, like maybe this little candle right here. Let's spread it out and take a look inside here and see what we got going on in this apparatus. See, I'd be looking at one of these. I would say something like here, because here they come down. They've already came down to these areas. They came out left to come down to this area. It's left. It hasn't came back to this area really, right? It tried to a little bit, but it hasn't actually pulled down. So I would be looking for something like that, right? Maybe for it to come, I don't know, coming all the way back down to there, but I would think it would get close. But what you do have with Yearn is that you do have some equal highs here, right? So, and they are upwards about $25,000 area, right? Equal highs, so you have your liquidity area up here, right? That same area that I was talking about where people would place their buy stops, right? Place their buy stops just at it. And, well, it's not wanting to agree with me, so hold on one second. Let me take it off this. Alright, you place your buy stops at just at it. You think it's going to skyrocket and take off, but then you put your stop loss just barely below it, right? So it's going to trigger those buy stops. What it would typically do is do something like this, pull back enough to where take people out and then continue going up. Something like that. So that's why I drew this over here, because I think it's going to get above that, probably hit, I don't know what line that is or why I drew that line. It's probably another high or something like that. Oh, yeah, it's another area of displacement. So here you have your down candle before your up candle. So you would look for it to, oh yeah, here you have two equal highs too. So like I said, it'll probably get above equal high set 1, equal high set 2, area displacement, and then pull back, right? And that's the kind of price action that you're looking for, right? So, and the funny thing is, it's actually falling into that area right now. Maybe we'll come back to Yearn in just a little bit and see what's happening with it. But yeah, Litecoin. I'm fairly bullish on Litecoin, even though it's it's been kind of stagnant and taken a while to get somewhere. Looks like they're all kind of falling. Since they're all kind of falling, what's the price of Bitcoin doing? 28,250, 20. Yeah, it fell. It looks like it's falling too. Oh, you can already, okay, so here you go. You can just tell me that I'm a flat out idiot. Because it didn't come to that area displacement, it fell right through it. But what did it do? It hit the previous area displacement. It hit the same exact area of displacement. So it hit the other line that I had drawn, right? And it is going back up. So, I was at least right about this second part, right? So if it did fall, I said it would probably hit here and then come back up. So why? Because this is what price action does, right? These are the areas that it is drawn to, right? So that's actually kind of funny. So now what I would be looking for is it to be coming, yeah, right to this area that I drew before, and then see if it sells off from there. I wouldn't be surprised if it did that. Let me draw a little bit of a fib here and see what we're looking at as far as what the percentage is. That would be about exactly 50%. That's not a coincidence or anything. Generally, when something retraces about 50%, it stays on that side, which means it would continue falling. Generally, like especially right after it, like if you think of this as one big candle, it automatically retraces 50%, then you would almost always continue seeing it fall. If it does retrace to that 50% mark, that I'm thinking that it might retrace to. So that's kind of interesting that the bodies of this, let me just make sure I am at the bodies. Yeah, the 50% is exactly on that line. Exactly at that displacement level to where it is pushing up. So if you don't, so this is what just tells me that, there is an algorithm to these things. The price, it's not just chance. It does this for a reason. Price behaves this way for a reason, because there is an algorithm in here. It wouldn't just be exactly half of that fall for nothing, right? If it was honestly random chance, that the price does this the way it does, it wouldn't be at 50%. It would be at 27.4 or 68.7, something like that. But there's a reason we have Fibonacci and these percentages and things like that. It's because it's what happens. This is what happens in price action, in and Forex primarily, and now I'm trying to teach it to you in crypto, right? So interesting to see that happen. We may have to come back and see what's happening. Now, what I want to check out actually is Ripple. You know, what's been going on with Ripple lately? Uh, it had some interesting stuff go on, that's for sure. Um, wow, it has all my. I don't know why all those are still there because those are from like forever ago. Those are from like months and months ago. I swear, every time I turn this on, see, I don't even use this fib anymore. Oh, you know why? Because I'm on a, I'm on an XRP that I don't use. That's why. That would make sense. Okay, so here we go. Here's an XRP I do typically use. And here you go. You have this big bullish move up. Unfortunately, it didn't break these highs right here that I still think it can break. Um, I think now is a good time, but definitely a great time to put any money at XRP that you can. You can still buy it on Robinhood. So if you think Coinbase is like your only thing, or I don't, to be honest, the Coinbase I don't have KuCoin, I don't have Uniswap or anything like that, or whatever else you guys use. Um, I primarily use Coinbase because it was one of the first ones, and that's where my funds were. And I'm switching most of my crypto to Robinhood, primarily because there's no fees involved in Robinhood. Um, I don't, one thing I haven't looked into is if I mean, I'm sure you'd have to have your wallet address. I just don't know what that wallet address would be or how. I haven't really done, as much of as I really enjoyed doing price action on crypto, and as much as I have been trading it, as far as CFDs are concerned, I don't invest in it. I don't put money into it and watch it grow. I really don't. I have a little bit, not a whole lot, not as much as I do in the stock market. Um, but I think I just make more money off trading it than I do, or I would investing it. Um, Maybe not Bitcoin. No, I think that's one we all kind of are hitting ourselves, and especially if you haven't invested by now, you're smacking yourself in the foot, going, "Man, I wish I would have bought 100 Bitcoin whenever it was at 50 cents, back in 2012 or whatever." But anyways, taking a look at Ripple here. So you have this big comes down, has this big jump up, right? So what happens after this big jump up? What I'm looking at is the push down, right? Where's the last push down? And I said it was right here, and I don't know. Yep. Yeah, okay, so my video, I think I was doing it right as it was right around here yesterday. And I said, it'll probably jump up from here. And sure enough, it did. So it came back down into this last push down area. Again, your area of displacement. So, it pushed down. And right after that, it pushed right back up. And then it went sideways. And then now we are here. So I think it's just, Ripple's going to have its time. It's going to be probably fairly stagnant for a while. But I think if you're smart, you're going to buy it. Because I think something good is going to happen to Ripple eventually. Um, anyways, let's check out Dash. I like Dash too. Um, Serves a very very good purpose in the Latin American community. Um, I did put a buy on it. I think it was over the weekend, somewhere around here. I think it was right around $105, and I think it was this. I think I forgot where it was. I think I talked about it whenever it happened though. But I think it was right around here. It was right, yep, it was this. It was right at $105, and I got it to where it came up to about 112 because I drew this line, and the reason I drew this line was because if you look to the left, there it is. Well, it doesn't even go back that far for some reason. I don't know why. Let's go back 15 minutes. 15-minute chart. There you go. See, I saw that. There's that the push down before the push up. So there's your, well, for some reason, there we go. Sorry, my computer just decided to switch desktops on me to a desktop that didn't exist. So anyway, here is your push down before your push up. So I thought it was going to come back down to, or it was when it was climbing, right? And it came down to this area. So I put the buy in right around here. It's about 105 whenever it was pushing down. I saw it in this area of mitigation. So what I'm saying is this right here. It was this last push down here, right? And I was waiting for it to come back down to that area, right? So it did. So I put in my buy, and I waited for it, and I put in 112 as my 112 as my take profit, because it was just under that area right there. And like I said, sometimes crypto doesn't reach into it. Sometimes it stops before it. So I just wanted to make sure I had my take profit. So I got a good 70 pip deal off of it. But look at this. If you, I mean, it came right to it. If you don't count the wick, right? If we just count the bodies of these candles, this thing came right up to that and then came right back down. So that's your price action there that you're looking for, right? So that area of displacement, the down before you're up, right? What we call a breaker, right? You wait for the price to come right back up to that breaker and then sell off. And if you were to put a trade on that, your stop loss shouldn't be any higher than this, right? If it does get higher than that, then more than likely what's going to happen is going to return to this apparatus and then, or this price action, and then go back up the other way. So once it breaks a high, it's going to be more bullish, right? If it doesn't break the high, then it's going to be more bearish. So since that point, it has been actually bearish, and we haven't seen it kind of pull up since then. So looking at it on a bigger scale, what would I be looking for? Let's go ahead and throw a Fibonacci on here, right? So up to somewhere around here. Let's make sure I'm getting, hello. That was really odd. All right, so make sure we're getting to the bodies of these. There we go, not the wicks. You want to put your fibs on the bodies and not the wicks. Reason being is because wicks can differ depending on broker, depending on who, but the main body will have the same volume that it does in almost in every single place. So what I would be looking for, now that you're seeing this, come back down into this area, and as you can see, in between the 62 and 80%, you have two areas, right, to where it has that push down. I'd be looking at this. I'd be looking right at the 70.1% or 70.5%, because you have this right here that's going right across the top of it. That right there, that's what I'd be looking at, to be honest, because that's that first. As soon as it's coming up, right, then it pushes down really quick, goes up, and this has already been mitigated. So if you look at this, going across, right, it's already had that spike down into it. So it's already came back and already mitigated that area. This area hasn't been mitigated. I mean, it's came close, but it didn't actually get to this mitigation area. Hasn't came close to this area right here. For the market maker buy sell model to fully develop, right? So so you got these boxes here, right? Oops, didn't mean to move that. Let me just take this off. So you kind of have that box there, right? then I have another one up here. And then you keep having them, right? So, and then you'd probably have them going the opposite way on the way down. So it wouldn't actually have a box or like anything like that, like you would expect. Didn't mean for that to happen. Come on now. Like that in this area. Instead, what it would do is it would actually come down here really quickly and enter something like this box and then come back out and then probably actually have a box like that somewhere along the lines right around or above the 50%, which is where this area is here. So you'd probably see something like that happen. It'd probably come down, strike it really quick, then come back out, settle here, and then continue moving upwards. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen with Dash. So I would say if we're going to be looking for a price to look for, I don't understand why the price isn't see, it's showing for these, but it's not showing for the ones I'm now putting on there. I don't get it. 995,442, somewhere around there. That's where I would be looking for Dash, right? If you're wanting to time the market, right? So if you're wanting to time the market, 95.442, wait for it to hit that, and then after that, I would expect it to continue going up, right? Anyways, that's what I got for crypto, guys. I'm gonna head over now to some Forex, right? So as the dollar continues to fall, I have my Forex trifecta. I look at the dollar, the GU, the EU, the EG, right? Those are the three that I look at because those are the three that are the best, the ones that can personally, I personally feel have the best chance of making you money. I don't really like looking at any others, just because if you can master three of them, you don't have to ever play with any other four. You don't have to play with any other pairs, because you know them so well that you know exactly how to play them. So then, sorry if I don't do EG or AJ or anything like that. Sorry about that. But I'll definitely do a good breakdown of EU, GU, and EG all the time. So, as we see, like I said, if I thought it was going to break lower than that December 17th low that we had, I said it was going to continue falling, and it is. Right, so this was the December 17th low, which is 89 something. I'm calling it for it to go to about, I think I said 88.2. So I'm thinking it's probably not going to stop until it gets down to about here, to be honest. And why do I think that? Let's go to the 4 hour and I'll show you why. I almost drew it to the exact T, because that is the bottom of here, right? So if we try to, actually let's put this on the daily now. So this is 2018 right here in this box. This is 2020, almost coming into 2021. And as you can see, it is more than halfway through now. So at first it kind of came up here. If we were to throw a fib on this, so let's do that. Let's do it from the very, very bottom. Get out of my way. Alright, we're going to go up to the top here. It is, yep, it is now crossed the 50% threshold. So, I would expect it to continue falling and continue getting deeper and deeper. That being said, what does that mean for the others? I'll course, you know what that means for the others. I've been calling for EG and EU and EJ or EU and GU to be going up for the entire week. I just thought GU would actually go a little bit more sideways than it did. Um, but GU has definitely taken off. Um, let's see where it's at now. Definitely broke those highs. I know I was talking to people in this chat room and they thought that it was waiting for it. It was a bull trap. It was going to fall. So no, it's not. It is not going to fall. It is going to continue going up because for one, it beat out these highs that it was drawn to, right? So you have these equal highs here, right? Somewhat equal highs. It came up, it made, another equal high, it fell, and then it came right back up and smashed right through it. Why? Because the liquidity was high, it was just waiting right above there. So what I am waiting for this to do is, now that it has smashed through it, to pull back down underneath it and then probably go up again. But I don't think we're going to see any kind of bearish movement on this in the near future. I think we're going to see definitely some more bullish movements on this. Where I actually was today, whenever I made my money on on GU today, it was right here. I was already at work. I had the daily highs drawn out. I saw the daily highs were at these levels of these are, in Forex, these are definitely levels of displacement because they're areas to where they go sideways and then it finally goes up. So I just waited for it to return back to the area and I put in my buy here. And then I just waited for it to break the high. And I think I had my buy stop set here. Or not my buy stop, but my take profit set here. 32.63, yep, that was it, 32.63. So it wasn't exactly like at this line. It was a little bit above it. I didn't get it exactly where I wanted to go, but yeah, I want to say it was 45 pips. That makes sense. So I made that today on GU, and then EU. EU was a little bit of a different game today, but it was right around. Whenever I saw it, it did this in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, right, and it comes down. I was just waiting. I was hoping it was going to come back and what are you doing? Come back down to this area here, right? That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for it to come back down to this area here. But it never did. It never did, and so I never got into EU today, unfortunately. Even though I could have looked at this and saw this was probably the best time to get in. I know there's a lot of areas on my chart, and if you look all the way to the left, it's because these are areas to where I thought it was going to hit and then retrace. So here is one area that it did hit and retrace, right? And then but then again, that happened after I was making the video. And again, I wasn't going to sell, that's for sure. I was waiting on the buy. So I probably should have put a buy limit right here, and I just didn't do it. But instead, I missed my opportunity to get into EU. But we should see more bullish movement out of it. It does hit, like, see here. Right here I have a daily bearish order block. It looks like it hits it once, it hits it twice. But what does it do after it hits it twice? It creates equal highs. So even though there is that bearish order block, it may retrace from that because there is that order block there. It may retrace a little bit from that. Jeez, I don't want to move it. And where would it retrace to? Well, it would probably be looking for balance Considering this thing hasn't rebalanced in quite some time, I would honestly expect probably a pretty hefty drop from this. Um, and I think it could still get down to here, right? This 2186 area. I think it could probably still get a hefty drop down to here. Um, Probably not tomorrow. It'll just be a random drop. It'll be one of those things where the dollar kind of makes its kind of a huge skyrocket, and then the EU will just drop out of nowhere, and but then it'll rebound and go back up. So it could be one of those things to where it does do that, to where it does make you think there is a resistance here. It drops hard, right, and then it continues on. If we look at something like maybe like a 1 hour. Where would I be looking at if I was looking at this from the 1 hour? I can probably get rid of the daily highs because those have already been broken, right? So that's why I draw out the daily highs to see if they're going to be broken or not. And of course they have been. So no more need for daily highs. Daily lows are still down here, right? So, but yesterday's low was there, right through here or something like that. So it could be aiming for that area, right? So if I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, if I'm going to draw a fib, where would I draw my fib from? To see if it's going to retrace in what area. I would honestly be looking at this area here is where I would start. Just because this looks like the perfect so, and look at that V shape to it, and I think that's why I'd be looking at this. The push down, then the push up, the return, and then the continuation. So this is where I would be looking, right? And the funny thing is now that I'm looking at that, look at what's right in between the 70 and the 80, right, is these candles here. Right, so right in between the 70 80 you have this little push down before the push up. So it could return to here. So in the 22170 level, I mean, honestly, it could. I think it could fall down pretty good to there before it starts making a return. But it will make a return and it will break those highs, right? We'll have to see. I think tomorrow could be a down day for EU. Could be a down day for GU. I don't know. Especially with the likes that it's happening now. If what I want to do now is go to the 4 hour and check out. Okay, so the current high is right here, right? So let's go left. And let's see if it hits something inside of this big last towering area. Oh yeah, so it looks like there was a big spike up right there. So it was a previous high. So it looks like it also made another equal high or almost equal high to that previous high. So if we throw a line on top of that, right, and then we go left, back to what was it? Oh, it's 2019. So not there yet. Here we go. So it is just underneath that. So we are looking at almost equal highs. No, I think GU is going to have a big green day tomorrow. Yeah, at least it's going to get above that, right? I'm waiting for it to hit this breaker. Is what I'm waiting for it to hit, this 37117 area. I'm waiting for it to hit that because I think that's where we're finally going to see some kind of bearish retracement. And what do I mean by breaker? Let's head back over. Here you go. Okay, so that is in this big old apparatus here from January to April, right? You have your push down before your push up somewhere around here in February of 2018, right? That is your breaker. It also has another breaker to it right here. So it's a smaller one, but there's two of them. There's also a gap, right? So there's a little bit of a gap in price in between those breakers, or not between those breakers, but between here and here, right? So it'll probably shoot through that gap, right? And then hit that breaker, and then I think that's where it's going to return. If not, you have a second breaker up here, but you can see price is already kind of intertwined with it. So I'm not for sure if this is going to be much of a factor. If anything, the highs will be, right? So I think it could probably hit that breaker, maybe reach up to those highs and then start retracing down. But I'm thinking this first breaker here at what is this price at 37117. I think that's what we're going to be looking at to see what to see if it's actually going to fall back and how far it's going to fall back or not. So that's why I think it's still going to have a pretty good day, pretty big day. That's about 90 pips, almost 100 pips tomorrow, if it does do that. But I'd be waiting on a retracement before I would buy, right? So if I'm waiting on a retracement, where am I going to be looking at? Let's get back into the 5 minutes of this thing. Sorry for all the lines on my screen. It's just how I keep track of things. Again, daily highs, I can probably take those off. Then again, one thing about daily highs is that you'll notice is that price likes to hang around those after the Asian session starts. Likes to hang around those highs. So after it breaks them, sometimes it'll return. But the last couple days, the Asian session has been good sessions to trade. It's been weird. Usually you don't have like these kind of movements during the Asian session, but we're in a very weird time, right? In a very, very, very unstable economy, I guess. They're in a stable environment for currency. So, if I'm looking for this to retrace, honestly, I want a big one. I want a big retracement. But I don't want one that's going to break a low and then possibly possibly go lower, right? Because I want to continue being bullish on this, so I only want to look for buys. I want to look for buys. I am looking at this thing here up to this thing here. Unfortunately, that only brings me to about under 50%. I don't like that. Maybe it does come back down to here. Right? And who knows? Maybe it's just a freak one shot. It's. I mean, this is just a mid low. It's not like a low. So if it did pull back down to this area, I would still buy. So around the 1355 area, 1356 area, somewhere around there is where I'd be looking, hopefully, for it to pull back before I put in another buy. As like I said, once I saw it break today, break the high or their highs earlier, and then I put in that buy, I knew I was good. So that's what I look for. I look for it to break a previous high, which was one of these, right? Versus where I had the previous day's high. Saw it break that. Just waited for it to retrace back to that displacement area. Those red candles, and then boom, I bought there. Just let it ride, right? Yeah, that was early this morning. Jeez. And I held on to it for most of the day because really wasn't a whole lot of action. It just kind of went sideways. It was strange. The action was more last night, I guess you could say, in the middle of the night. But and the same thing with EU too. But you know, that's what that's what the London session brings. All right. So what about EG? You know, actually, I thought EG would take a little bit of a fall today. And you know, I drew two equal lows here. Looks like I'm anticipating it for it to get back down to this 8975 area. And I think that would be probably the better time to place a buy. If it is going to buy though, I don't know because it looks like GU now is looking a lot healthier than EU, which means EG would be going down. All right, that's how I kind of judge those because now that we did kind of have it consolidate here, right? See, I had those lows. It did break those lows, but it bounced back from it because it had that mitigation point here, right? That last down push before the up push, right? So here's the liquidity point, broke the liquidity point, hit the mitigation area, pushed up, and now you'd be looking for something similar, which I guess would be right where it's at right now, to be honest. I mean, I would like it a little bit lower. It hasn't fully reached. Then again, I'm on the wicks. I'm not on the bodies. Let me get a little bit closer in here and let's place something a little bit better. So, is that, didn't mean to move that. Yeah, that's on the body of that. And, oh no, yeah, that's totally on the body of that. Okay, so, um, yeah, it's right around the 618 area. I do like right in between here though. It looks like there is a bit of a push down right here before this up displacement, and then it kind of takes off. So I would be looking for somewhere around in here. That's where I would be looking, hopefully, to make a buy. Maybe I'll set a buy limit before I go to sleep. So I go to bed early tonight, guys. I can't trade tomorrow. So 89960, somewhere around there is where I'd be looking. Where I actually made money though yesterday or today, sorry, gold. I struck gold with gold. I actually placed a buy limit yesterday, and it came back to it today. It was around 1782 or something like that, or 1882. I'll show you exactly where it was because I found it in the 1 minute chart. So with gold, what I've been doing is I've been going back and retracing, basically, you know, starting at midnight, New York time. I've been putting the price there and then drawing it out 12 hours, and I've been trying to gauge. Uh, Basically, I've been going back and back testing to find out how gold does its what do you call it? I'm trying to think of the word here. I should have held on to this buy. I knew I should have. Look at this. Um, uh, it's bias. I'm trying to gauge how it has its bias, and I was looking at this, and this was yesterday, and it's in this here. In this here, you'll find the gold of the gold. So I saw that you know, it was kind of staying above this line, right? And if we get into the 1 minute, I'm gonna go to that area, right? If I can find it, give me a minute. Here it is. So in this little area here, right? In the 5 minute, it looks like one big candle down, one big candle up, and that's it. What I found was this though, these two candles down. So what did I do? I placed my buy limit right here, right at this 18. That's what 1876. I placed my buy limit right there, and yesterday it missed it. It missed it by just a little bit, and I was like, oh man, I was like, if I would have just pushed it up a little bit, I was like, I would have totally got in this buy, and it would have went. Well, what happened this morning while I was in the shower was that 7:08 this morning. Yep, I was definitely in the shower because I came out of the shower and I was like, whoa. I was like, my gold's going up. I didn't even know it even hit. And as you can see, it just came right down. It hit exactly that mitigation point that I was talking about. This is why smart money is so important in understanding where these areas are, and even looking at the 1 minute. Like, people are going, why are you looking at the 1 minute? Well, because you find stuff like that. You find the treasure. You find exactly what you need to go ahead. Because look at that. Since that point, if I actually would have held onto this, I was dumb to exit when I did, right? Which it was eight. When was it? It was probably right at the same time I bought into right here, right around the time I bought into GU. It was right around 9 o'clock, because I think it had just either gotten close to a high or broken a high. Okay, yeah, it just broke that high. Here we go. 127% extension. Maybe that's what it was that made me do it. I don't know. No, because it was still in here. So I go from 1776 to 1877, something like that. I knew it was somewhere right in here. It was right around 9 o'clock, right around where I bought GU. Which at the time I was happy. I did do it because it fell, and I was like, but I was still convinced it's still going to go up from that, because the dollar's going down. If the dollar's going down, gold's going to go up. So we're almost back to 1900 for gold. I mean, interesting stuff. I'll try to see if we can't find another bullish move out of gold tomorrow. Anyways, that is it for me. It's been an hour. I can't believe it's already been an hour from doing this. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. Hope you understand the concept of smart money, and what they can do and what they can bring to the table. If you can do me a huge favor, hit that like button. It'll help YouTube's algorithms, help you find people, and all that good stuff. Also, subscribe if you want to hear more. I do stuff like this hopefully every night. Maybe not. Probably can't do it. Well, actually, I'm gonna try to do it tomorrow night. I ain't got nothing to do. I'm a nerd. I don't do anything for New Year's. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching, and I shall see you guys soon. And remember to always wear your pants. Swear 'em.